So let's talk about using Google Forms to create a quiz or an assignment to post on Google Classroom. So if you go to forms.google.com, you can also click on the waffle and you'll see Forms underneath the Google apps. You can go through and see the different templates that they have available. But we're just going to start. Those are pretty easy to set up. They have template spaces, words that are just in there to hold a space for you to put your content. But let's just start with a blank quiz. So you're going to click on blank and let's name it. And so when you click here and type in a name, if you'll click in the top left-hand corner, that name will appear. That way, when you're looking in your Google Drive later, you have access to that. Also, while we're talking about Google Drive, if you click on the folder, you can organize this to put it wherever you feel. Maybe you have it organized in a way, you know, this is for a particular unit, whatever. That's where you can click, go into as much details as possible for where you want, add a new folder to click here, wherever you want it to be. And then you save that. So you want your kids to put their name. And so some of these, Google Form is smart enough to know if you want their name, then you want that to be a short answer because you don't want them to click on their name. So you want that to be a short answer. So it's smart enough to change that from whatever it's set up to be, maybe a multiple choice. It's smart enough to go ahead and change that for you. You want to require that question because you don't want students to not put their name and then you're trying to figure out who does this belong to. So to add a new question, you click on the plus sign. Type your question, and then choose what kind of answer choice do you want. Do you want a short answer, a paragraph, multiple choices where they're going to pick one right answer? A checkbox is where they might have multiple answers. You can choose to do a drop down. You can have a question that says, please post a screenshot of your IXL progress, whatever. So you would say, here's where you put that, and then they would click on file upload. So you would make this a file upload question. They would click on that file upload and attach their screenshot or another project or something. If you're doing a survey, you can do a scale, a grid choice, or a checkbox grid. So those are for survey type questions. And there's also a date and a time available for those questions as well. I find that I rarely, if ever, do I use those. Those are not very common for what teachers typically need quizzes for. So anyways, so what is 2 plus 2? Let's make that a multiple choice. And now I'm going to put in my answer choices. So I can put in, start typing 1. Sometimes it will come up with suggestions, like if you're doing true, false, or yes, no type questions. Google Forms will give you suggestions. You can choose to accept that by clicking Add All, and now all of those choices are available. If you decide you don't want 5, then just remove it. Again, if this is a question that you are requiring, you want to select Require. Now, I want another multiple choice question, but instead of going through all that, I can duplicate the question. And now I've got it's required, it's multiple choice, there are 4 answers, there's a question. But I don't want the same question, so I'm just going to edit what's already there. So what is 1 plus 1? and you can choose to have the same. Maybe you've got 4 questions and you're going to have the same 4 answer choices, and they have to choose which one. You don't want to change the answers. You want to change the answers. However you want to do that, it's completely fine. If you want to add a picture, you can add an image here, and you can pull it from your Google Drive or upload it from your computer. Either way, you can also use Google search, and find images for your quiz. Find graphs, find whatever. So now I have my 2 questions. Let's talk about how to make this a quiz. So you're going to click on the top right-hand corner where it says Settings. You can limit this to 1 response. That way students can't go back in and submit a new quiz. That way they can't do it until they get it right, so to speak. If you want to collect email addresses, you can turn that on. If you want students to edit it after they submit it, I don't ever turn that on because I want to see what they know. You can see a summary chart and text responses, have all that set up. You can shuffle the question order. So if you have all of your kids on at one time and you don't have your questions sorted in a particular order, then you can have Google Forms to shuffle it. That way nobody's on the same question at the same time. You can change your confirmation message. It's automatically set up to be your response has been recorded. But maybe if you're using this for a digital escape room, or maybe it's for differentiation and you want them to move on to a certain piece or whatever, you can put that in here. And so now I want my quizzes. I'm going to click on quizzes, make this a quiz. That way it will grade it for you. So I'm going to make this a quiz. You can choose locked mode, which means your students will not be allowed to open other tabs or applications while they are taking this quiz. Now that will depend on what kind of assignment this is. Is it a true quiz, or is it just an assignment where you want them to go and search for things? So that depends on if you want to lock it or not. And then you can choose to immediately give them a grade after the submission, or later after you grade it yourself. So if you're using multiple choice, if you're not doing a paragraph, that sort of thing, it's very easy to go ahead and give them their grade. So respondents can see missed questions, correct answers, point values. Do you want them to go ahead and see what they missed? Do you want them to go ahead and see the correct answer? Do you want them to see what's the point value for each question? Choose that as what best fits your classroom and your current assignment. So I don't put correct answers on there because I want in a math classroom for them to figure out their mistakes and then make those corrections as needed. Not necessarily a redo, but a learning opportunity. Maybe you choose to show them the correct answers. It doesn't matter either way. And so now we're going to save this. Now I need to set up my answer key. So I've got my questions in here. So for your name, obviously there's no answer key to that. There's no points to that. You should just know your name. So our first question, what is 2 plus 2? So I'm going to click on answer key. You can't just click here because this is putting in the answer choices. I want to choose the correct answer. So I'm going to click on answer key. When it says answer key, you can no longer edit. You can just click on things. So if you click on something and it lights up green, that means that's the right answer. Now, how many points is this worth? Well, I have a 2-question quiz, so I might choose, if I want it to be out of 100, then I might choose to make them 50 points each. Or I might just choose to make it 1 point. And if they get 1 out of 2 correct, then I know that's a 50. If they get 2 out of 2 correct, then I know that's a 100. You choose the point system how you want to. If you want this one to be worth more than the second question, then make that 2 points, make that 3 points, however you want to set up your point system. So I make my point system and then I click done. And now I'm not going to do the same thing for this one. When you click on it, this is in edit mode. You want to be on answer key. What is 1 plus 1? That is 2. Change your point value and then click done. So now I'm finished. Now I'm going to send it. Click on the link button, copy this link, and now you can post it in your Google Classroom. Or if you go to Google Classroom, you're going to click on classwork, click create. This is a quiz assignment. If it's not a quiz, you can do a regular assignment. It doesn't matter. So this is a quiz assignment. Example quiz. I'm going to add from my Google Drive, and you will see for recent that quiz is right here, example quiz. I'm going to add that. You can choose to turn your lock mode on if you want them to only be on this website, or you can choose to leave it like it is. It doesn't matter. Choose your due date, your topic, and assign. So then when the students log on, they will see that their teacher has created a new assignment. They'll click on the quiz. They'll answer their questions. You see, I did have it in the example quiz where my first question was, what is 2 plus 2? And then what is 1 plus 1? But for this student, it brought up the second question first. That's because we have that shuffle turned on. So fill out the quiz, put your name. If you do that shuffle, just be aware that the name question could fall anywhere in the quiz. It may not be the first one. So that's just something to think about. But it is a required question, so the students aren't going to just skip over that. Submit it, and then they're going to view score. And now they can see up 2 out of 2. I know that's a 100. I'm done. And then on the teacher's end, I'm in classwork. I see this example quiz. One student has turned it in. So I'm going to click on and see for this student has turned in the quiz. So I'm going to look at the quiz on my end. So in your Google folder, wherever you put it on your Google Drive, you're going to open this quiz back up, click on responses, and this is where you can see the overall summary. How did the class do overall? You can look at specific questions to see how many students got this question correct, or you can look at the individual student and see how the individual student performed on this assignment.